lethargic and not moving around.
Dry kibble just wasn't cutting it.
That's why, after more than 45 years of experience of helping dogs make complete health turnarounds, veterinarian Dr. Marty created Nature's Blend. It's a freeze-dried raw dog food made with wholesome ingredients like premium meats, seeds, vegetables, and fruit. And once dog parents switch their pups to Nature's Blend, the results can be astounding.
She's got her energy back. She's running around like she did like 5 years ago.
Miraculously, she's just feeling all around better. She's like a new dog. Thank you, Dr. Marty.
Get your dog started today and save up to 54% off Nature's Blend. Plus, receive a free pack of our best-selling beef liver dog treats. Go to drmartypets.com/turkey or text turkey to 511-511. Text turkey to 511-511. All dogs are unique. Your dog's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Well, I am not Steve Moulton. He is on assignment tonight. I am Drew DeArmond, co-host of Talking Ball. Scott Tyson and I bring you our morning program from 7 to 9 a.m. each Monday through Friday. We had a great show this morning. I'm pinch hitting tonight from the palatial and awesome. It smells great in here as always. It is our night to be at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, and we're going to enjoy some great food, some great camaraderie. They always have great folks here, great customer service. Bob Baumhauer been in the restaurant business for 40 years and navigated the COVID pandemic better than anybody I think I've ever seen, and that's why this is so much Wes Neighbors, who's with me tonight.
There's no question. The job they did there in COVID
really, they don't get enough credit for that, in my opinion.
No, I mean, we raised money for sitting right here,
right,
for the all the nurses and first responders and everybody that was helping out with COVID. I don't know how many meals we served. It was some ridiculous amount of meals.
Yeah.
When they ran out of toilet paper, Bob was selling toilet paper.
He was.
Out of
Remember, because it was such a shortage.
Yes.
He was bringing seafood up to sell?
Yes. All the things he did were magnificent. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I still think about that, and I still just marvel at how well his empire is doing and how well this store is doing, and it's always packed. You can see it easily from the Parkway when you go by. If you're not stopping in to eat, it's always packed by 11 a.m., which is when they open. So, and then we're going to have some dinner here tonight. Really excited about it. We're going to have a great show for you. And we're going to take a quick break in a few minutes because Jerry Glanville, the one and only Jerry Glanville, that's the best way to introduce him, he is going to join us to talk some football. The UFL just wrapped up. Birmingham Stallions, 3-time champs. They've won 2 USFL,
it's
now a UFL
cheating,
title.
Right.
Well, I mean,
because the league, everything's out of Birmingham, right?
Well, it seems, I'm sure that's what they're going to get accused of now that they're winning it all the time. It was kind of like
Alabama. The Stallions were good, too.
No, I mean, 25-0, they beat the Brahmas, which is Wade Phillips. You knew Bum Phillips, his son.
I knew Wade,
Wade. He was the head coach of the Brahmas, and they put out A.J. McCarron and the St. Louis Battlehawks. And so, wow, man.
How did A.J. do this year?
He had another really good year. Just had some injuries, had some lower leg injuries. He
100% chance of injury.
Yeah, and
Les Miles. Only thing he said it was 100% right.
Yeah, and AJ's got to decide if he's going to keep playing or if I think he's seriously considering going into coaching. I've heard that, whether it be on the high school level, college, professional. He talked as though he'd like to maybe join the professional ranks with the UFL to help elevate the league because, as he said, Wes, there's no minor league for the NFL. They've tried it many times.
It's too expensive.
And then I thought the Alliance had a chance to work because of their direct partnership, but we know they didn't have a good financial plan. That didn't work.
That was
and
ready,
then,
fire, aim.
Well, and then, they did it backwards.
Yeah,
and
you
then
gotta have the money first.
Right. And then with the XFL and the USFL, you knew they both couldn't survive. So them merging was natural. We'll see if something happens with it, though, and if it comes back for the second year of the UFL. They had 2 years of the USFL. The XFL just never really worked in either connotation. So we'll see, but certainly it allowed A.J. McCarron to play at a high level, and he did get another year in the league last year with Cincinnati. So, and I think, from what I've heard, he'd like to get a 10th year in the NFL if possible. And I know you know about that, Neighbors Wealth Management, to the pensions and things of that nature. Get year 10
every
in.
Year after so long, you get so much more in your
right. That's right.
Most people don't get their pensions to 65 and even further now, but in the NFL, really? You get it when you're 55.
In the NFL,
yeah,
55? Wow. So you get,
at one
you get
time, the reason they did that at 55 originally is that was the average life
of an NFL player. Wow.
And I think it's gone up a little bit, but not a heck of a lot.
Right. And I mean,
it takes its toll.
Yeah, it really does on your body. And that's what we were kind of talking about with AJ, because he's had injury issues. He had the knee with the Falcons. When he had a chance to start with Buffalo, he got hurt. So injuries have kind of taken their toll with him. But always a guy that was really sharp from the neck up. And this league has helped him, continue his career. And as he put it, help his two kids get to see him play live. So it was good stuff, no doubt about that. So, but we are going to, if you'd like to, call before we go to break and bring Jerry Glanville into the conversation, you certainly can. 256-576-4977. Again, Drew DeArmond, West Neighbors here live with you from Baumhauer's Victory Grill here on Memorial Parkway. Brian Temple producing. He does a great job. We appreciate him for being here tonight. And after our show wraps up at 7, we're going to join the Rocket City Trash Pandas in progress in JIP. So we look forward to bringing you Josh Carey's call tonight with the Trash Pandas, and we certainly are going to do that after we wrap up at 7 o'clock. But Wes, I know we were kind of talking about this and joking about this off the air too as the show was starting. Alabama a couple weeks ago, recruiting's been going very, very well under this new staff, and I know you've met some of those guys. I had a chance to meet Chris Kapellik as well. Very impressed with the new offensive line coach. He looks like he and Kalen DeBoer are putting together a monstrosity of an offensive line class. They've got 3 kids committed already, got 2 more 5-star tackles one's probably going to slide inside the guard, but they got 2 more pieces they're probably wanting to add. They could add one this weekend with Micah DeBose from Viger High School in Pritchard in the state of Alabama. He's a former Georgia commitment who reopened his recruiting process. He's visited Alabama, Auburn, LSU, still had Georgia under consideration. He's been heavily recruited throughout the SEC and nationally. Alabama's going to get that official visit this weekend. This weekend will be the last of the official visits for the month of June, because in July, as you know, Wes, there's going to be a dead period before they start practice in late July and early August, and it's crazy. It's already almost here.
Yeah, they're going on vacation.
Yeah, they're going to
have to leave in a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
They get 4 weeks off, but 1 week they have to spend in town. Each coach has to spend in town for 1 week to make sure if something happens to handle it.
Yeah.
So they'll have one offense and one defensive coach at least that'll be there to handle any problems with. Because the players are still in summer school.
Yeah.
Right? But all the coaches are gone. And this is their break. This is where they travel with their families. And because after that, they're working 80 hours a week.
Ugh.
It's nuts. They don't get a break in the football season. It's every day. And, Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays, they're basically working to, sometimes 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah, and there's no question. And then what I was about to say, though, is that a few weeks ago, Alabama got a commitment from a then 3-star quarterback named Keelan Russell from Duncanville, Texas. He qualified for the Elite 11, which we know is a big deal each and every summer, with the top 11 quarterbacks, so to speak, the top echelon QBs getting together. Usually on the West Coast, usually it's in Los Angeles. I think it still is. It has been in Beaverton, Oregon in the past. We know Blake Barnett won it almost 10 years ago, and Tua Tagovailoa did very well when he was a member of it. Alabama's usually had a representative nearly every year, in this competition. But Keelan Russell just this news just hit the wires and the social media, not even really only about an hour ago. But Keelan Russell won the Elite 11 and was the MVP.
Well, I have total confidence in Kalen DeBoer, and Baker Mayfield was not offered a scholarship by anybody.
Yeah, walked on to Texas Tech. Yep.
Texas Tech ended up transferring to Oklahoma. Was the number 1 pick in the draft. So I'm not worried about what reporters are saying, or even I'm the worst at picking quarterbacks that there ever was, although I did say 2 it would be good.
Yeah.
And I did like Bryce Young.
You did.
So I'm 2 for 2,000. So,
well, I'm still sticking. I was skeptical of Jalen Milroe last year, but I firmly believe he won the job straight out and had a really strong finish. And I'm fascinated to see how he does under this new staff, Wes, because he has all the tools.
Oh, yeah. And listen, I think the backup quarterback.
Yeah, and Ty Simpson, yes.
Ty Simpson.
Yes, sir.
Him staying is saying, hey, I want to play for this guy.
Right.
I want to, even if I start for 1 year, I think I can be a number 1 pick. That's why I'm staying.
Mac Jones was.
Yep.
under the previous regiment,
Right.
but he certainly was.
So
But
and I think that's a big thumbs up to the new head man.
we always give thumbs up to Jerry Glanville, and we're going to take our first break here live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. And when we come back, the former Atlanta Falcons head football coach, Jerry Glanville, will join us here on this edition of The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, Bobby White here for Woody Anderson Ford. Get ready to experience the ride of your life with our summer lineup. First up, the 2024 Bronco Sport. We've got nearly 75 to choose from. Bronco Sport is built for adventure with its rugged design, all-terrain capability, and advanced tech features. And right now at Woody Anderson Ford, you get $1,750 in total cash back. And yes, we do have the Bronco Badlands Edition in stock. Need something bigger? Check out the award-winning Expedition. Perfect for families and summer vacation, it offers spacious comfort, top-notch safety features, and plus, we've got 24 Expedition financing as low as 2.9% for up to 72 months. And for all you truck lovers, we've got the 2024 F-150. America's favorite truck, delivers unmatched power and innovative features, and we've got financing as low as 3.9% for 60 months on F-150. Plus, these are the final hours of no payments for 90 days on select models, including Expedition, Bronco Sport, Explorer, and more. These offers are with your good credit, and they end July 8th. Come on in to Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
It's freezer season at Owen Home Appliance Center. So if rising temps have that freezer on its last leg, check out the name brand frost-free upright and chest freezers. Best of all, Owen Home Appliance has them in stock and ready to go or have delivered. Don't let all that high-dollar food go to waste. Go to Owen Home Appliance Center and get that new freezer. And while supplies last, get a $50 gift card towards the purchase of Wagyu beef when you purchase a freezer. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name.
Embark on a flavorful journey at the Brewers Cooperative. Located within the vibrant community hub of Stovehouse in Huntsville, our brewery isn't just about crafting exceptional beers. It's a destination where culinary delights and local brews harmonize. Whether you're seeking a laid-back lunch or a lively dinner with friends, our diverse menu has something to please every palate. With a commitment to quality and a passion for innovation, we invite you to savor the unique flavors of Huntsville's craft beer scene at the Brewers Cooperative. Call 256-678-7036. The Brewers Cooperative.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Welcome back to The Drive. I am Drew DeArmond, pinch hitting for the one and only Steve Moulton here. We are live at Baumhauer's Victory Grill here on Memorial Parkway here in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm with Wes Neighbors tonight. We're going to bring you 2 great hours of conversation. Before we went to break, we were talking about Keelan Russell, Duncanville, Texas, 2-time 6A state champs. Been the starter since he was a sophomore there. He will be going into his senior season. Was just named the Elite 11 MVP. The last 2 Alabama quarterback signees to do that, Blake Barnett, then Tua Tagovailoa. Well, the first one didn't work out great, but the second one certainly did. As Tua Tagovailoa rewrote the record books and is now the starting quarterback about to get paid with the Miami Dolphins. And speaking of the NFL, it's always an honor to be joined by our next guest, who was the head football coach of the Atlanta Falcons and the Houston Oilers, coaching one West Neighbors, and that is Jerry Glanville. He's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, you're with Drew and West Neighbors. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Now, Drew, I forgot. How are you? Are you related to Wes, or are you related to Steve, or are you just on your own?
I'm on my own, sir. I have friends in high places.
You'll have a better career if you're not related to either one of those.
Yeah, well, I've had a great 10 years so far with the station, Coach. It's always great to be with you, and going to be great to talk some football tonight. And we were just talking about the UFL wrapping up, and I know you've been involved with the XFL. They're trying to get a minor league, so to speak, to help feed the National Football League, and we'll see if this works. The Birmingham Stallions certainly have dominated both the USFL and our first year of the UFL. What has been your impressions of the UFL, and does it have staying power in your mind?
Well, it's kind of funny. I've been in every league that they've started and folded. I think I was probably the problem. I was in the XFL, the USFL, the Spring League, the USF, the one up at Hartford. So I've been the head coach in all those leagues. And probably my biggest joy, I was a coach in San Antonio, Texas, and I had 3 players in one season sign with the Chargers. And if you get to help a player to get to where he really wanted to get, and all 3 made it with the Chargers, but that doesn't happen very often. That's very unusual, but
yes, sir.
I was fortunate enough to be a part of that one year.
So, Coach, these kids, what's the difference? Is it the speed, the size, the experience, or a little bit of all of that?
Well, and it's not only that, Wes, because you've been there. You can be the best center as a rookie in football, but they got a 9-year-old vet, and they're not going to let him go. Then you get left out. So a lot of times, you know as well as anybody, you can be a hell of a running back, but in front of you is Earl Campbell, or is Mike Rozier, or somebody like that. So you don't get your shot, and you don't get to pick where you're going. So a lot of these guys are very, very close, and it's all about, for the secondary, it's all about what I call long speed. And long speed means, they're throwing the deep ball. They're going downtown. And the 40-yard speed isn't even enough. You got to have that 100-meter, 200-meter, 400-meter long speed to keep on going. And that's what's, right now, if you want to go to Auburn and you want to sign in the secondary, you got to run a 10-800 meter in high school. And so everybody's looking for that. In fact, where I am now in Division II, we didn't have any down linemen when we started there. We had 4, and now we're up to 20. And we didn't have many linebackers, and now we're up to 15. But how many long-range speed guys have we been able to add? 2, because they're at that premium. The premium is there, and if you got that long-range speed, people will look at you, And if you got the 40-yard speed in the secondary, that's not enough.
One of the things that Coach Stallings, who coached the secondary at Dallas back in the heyday, he used to say, and I'm asking you if you saw that, he said that it was his experience that the really good players all had great vertical, in the secondary, have great vertical jumps. And that was one of the things he looked at, which was surprising to me.
A vertical jump, there's a formula. If you jump this high, you'll run this fast. It's actually a great indicator of what you'll run the 40 in. Your vertical jump, if you jump this high, you'll run this. You jump this, you'll run that. Now, in the secondary, you know, you got to have change of direction. You can't just be fast. You can't be straight line. You got to be able to COD it, which is change of direction, because you got to move your hips and turn around. And if you can't,
that's when people, Coach, that talk about having good hips, right? People have good hips just because they change. Yeah.
If you don't have good hips and you're a corner, then you got to be a full press guy and turn it into hips turn immediately. So if I have a guy that is not a COD change of direction hip guy, then I go full press. And then if you got a guy that can swivel his hips and do it all, you know me, I'll stay off 7 yards and read every route, cut every route. So, you know, in pro football, college football, we're all looking for the same thing, but there's just a few of them out there.
But so, to me, it's always asking players to do what they can do, right? Put them in a position to win.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think is the difference between great coaches and average coaches, is when they're trying to get average players to do something they can't do, right?
Well, you know me, you hit it right on the head. I started this new job, and I got 3 ends that can't win if they go inside. If the end goes in an inside tackle, they're beat. They bounce around like a ping pong ball. So with those cats, you got to be sure the defense doesn't send them inside. Then I have a tackle that can shock and lock you and separate from you. But then I got a tackle can't do anything like that. I got to run a jet 3. So you know me. When we call the defense, what your assignment is depends on what your strength is. That's how you end up having the best defense every year.
Yeah, that's how you win. It's it's the people that design a scheme and want to run the scheme no matter who the personnel. That's the people that will flash at times when they have the people, and then all of a sudden you say, well, what happened? Well, they don't have the players anymore they had, and they can't. They couldn't adjust. So
sure,
I always say, Coach, you don't win by accident, right? Like Kalen DeBoer, people trying to run him down when he got at Alabama, and I get why. But he's lost, how many games? 12 games?
12 games, yeah.
He didn't win 100 and something in 12. He didn't win all those games by accident.
No, somebody was coaching.
So, Coach, when you watching these teams now, what is the difference the defenses they're running today, say in the NFL, versus what you guys ran? Are they any different, really, back in the day?
Well, they're right now they're mesmerized by simulated pressure. We used to call that zone blitz, as you remember, zone dog. Well, now, because they're trying to create pressure on the quarterback without playing man. So the biggest thing in the NFL now is you and me are on number 2. We're inside taking away the slant, but we're going to play a zone. We're not leaving there, but we're sending people after the quarterback that he thinks it's a blitz man, and it's a good thing to run if you're 80, 90 yards away, that you're not chancing a zero coverage, which is man-to-man, no help, that could great the distance, but you're still able to crush the quarterback. But they drop down linemen. They drop defensive ends and somebody into the pass scheme. And I'm old Alabama school. Let the fighters fight and the dancers dance, and don't mix them up.
So, Coach, what do you think the state of college football right now?
I don't think they can ever put the toothpaste back in the tube. They have screwed up D1 to the point where I don't know how in the world you'd ever fix it. And the players were not being treated properly, but now it's gotten so out of hand that, players have to decide whether they want to go to NFL as a rookie or go pick up the $3 million at Nebraska. That's what's going on. I don't know how you fix it, but I sure think they got it screwed up.
And Coach, does it affect you guys at all on the Division II level? Do you have to deal with any of that, or is it still kind of the status quo for it? I guess it does make it more difficult sometimes to get student athletes, though, and players, because the guys are always wanting to move up.
Well, the thing with Division II, nobody's wanting to move down to Division II. So Division II, you don't ever get any better. But the number one running back in the SEC last year at Missouri was a Division II guy that walked on Missouri, had to beg his way on, and he's the number one back in the Southeast Conference. So there's players there. I had 3 guys. We played a spring game. We had 3 guys that never played a play for Northwestern Oklahoma. But people come to your spring game. They played very, very well in the spring game, and they all packed up and left.
Wow.
I won't be having any more spring games.
So I've heard a lot of people talking about not having spring games anymore because of that reason.
I'm for just having your final practice be a spring game, but there's nobody in there. There's nobody invited. Nobody come watch. That's what I vote for, because I know we're going to get better. I know our guys will go play good, and I know people will be sitting there saying, get him, and get him. It's already happened with us.
Yeah, that's really tough. I mean, when you have 3 good players you've recruited and developed, and then you don't even get a chance to coach them in an actual game, and they leave after the spring. Coach, have you guys been able to I know you probably haven't completely replaced them, but how do you kind of, when that happens, of course the portals can giveth and taketh away, have you been able to recruit some guys that you hope can replace that production?
No, we can't go take we can get a junior college player out of California. And why can we get a California junior college player and we get junior college kids out of Texas? We made that trip. We made that, but they're different recruiting a junior college kid than a high school kid. Totally different. Very what I call street smart. Very savvy. They know what they want, and they look at your place, and they'll evaluate you more than you're evaluating them. And we're out in the middle of Alva, Oklahoma, and there ain't a whole lot going on. So we do real good with kids from Kansas, Oklahoma, and north of Dallas, because where they live, it sort of looks like where we live, which we don't have trees or grass or any of that stuff.
So it takes somebody used to not looking at that, right?
Yeah, they'll come. We had a defensive tackle, and his parents came with him, and we were recruiting him, a really good defensive tackle. And his parents kept talking to the head coach, Coach Jones, and finally Coach Jones said he goes, "Son, you haven't said anything. You got any ideas?" And he said, "No trees," and he got up and left.
So I think it's kind of funny. Back in the day when Lane Kiffin was the head coach at FAU, a couple of years they recruited some guys from Mississippi, and none of them ever stayed. They didn't like Boca Raton is just a different thing. And now he's the head coach of the University of Mississippi, right? And I think it's kind of interesting that they made a thing where we can't sign anybody. The first 2 years they signed all these kids from Mississippi, and all of them went home because they couldn't hunt, they couldn't fish. And I guess they could have fished, but not in the pond out back. But it's interesting.
When I was in Oregon, I learned my lesson. If you got a player from Dallas, he may get homesick, not like it, and go home. I lose you.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, the homesick part and being comfortable, where you're playing and with your environment around football, absolutely.
Especially
I can understand
early,
that. Yes.
You're not going to – most 9 out of 10 players when they're young are not going to be ready to play when they get there.
No.
And so –
here's what you learn. Here's what you learn, Wes. If the Dallas kid quits and goes home, his mama bakes him cookies and they bring everybody over and they love each other. If you got a Houston kid and he said he was going home, when he got off the airplane, he'd be beat to death. They wouldn't accept him coming home. So you learn where you got to get your kids from and what happens if they decide to leave.
So I think my dad's freshman year at Alabama, it's Coach Bryant's second year at Alabama, but that he was eligible to play. He was a sophomore. They weren't allowed to play when they were freshmen. Anyway, they tied Vanderbilt or something like that, and my dad knew they were going to kill him, right? I mean, he knew it was coming. So he went home. He quit. He went home, and he didn't tell anybody he quit. He just went home. And his mom wouldn't let him in the door. Said, "There's nothing for you here. You need to go back home. You need to go back to the dorm because there's nothing for you here."
That's awesome. That's Houston, Texas. It's the way Houston is.
Yeah, so Taylorville, Alabama, and Houston, Texas are similar, I guess.
Oh yeah. Now Dallas in that way, and if we get a kid out of Arkansas, he's just like parents would be just like your daddy's parents. We got one linebacker out of Arkansas. And what really makes D2 is we're recruiting a defensive end that's 214. Well, D1 doesn't want a 214-pound defensive end. They could care less about him. And what you got to hope is you look at his frame and you look at his shoes and you look at his hands, and he's going to come August 1st. He weighs 242, and I tell everybody, if he was a senior now, every D1 would be after him, and we had to take a chance that he maybe grow. Well, he grew like a weed.
And is he still there?
Yeah.
That's that'd be. Your frustration is being felt by the same in the Sun Belt now. They're losing players left and right. The guys they work really hard. They develop these kids. I think they ought to be compensated in some way.
Well, here's the biggest thing happening in football: the Mid-American Conference. Toledo, Ohio U, Bowling Green. I went and watched their championship game, Miami of Ohio versus Toledo, and this sophomore right end for the Miami, Ohio. Well, I said, good golly, looks like the guy playing for the Detroit Lions from Michigan. And I said, wow, he's the player who dominated the game. Well, he's now playing for Oklahoma. And Tim Alvin's the head coach at Ohio U, and after, you two got to listen to this, after the spring game, he lost 6 starters, including the quarterback and the best corner in the league and the best pass rusher in the league. And what's happened, if you watch the SEC, when you watch Alabama games, they'll say that guy was at Ohio U or Bowling Green or Toledo. The Toledo quarterback went to Baylor, and it's just tough. I'm better off where I am, and I love Mid-American football. It's good football, but it's robbery. Every team, every year, has to start over.
That's just, yeah, it doesn't seem right. That's for sure. Because they are developing these kids, and a lot of these guys never play in a game. Like you say, they play in a spring game. They've gotten better. These teams have put a lot of time and treasure in making them better by, having strength coaches working them out, feeding them, doing all the things you got to do, and there's no recourse for the teams. As unfair as we've talked about it was for the players, and we all know it was for a long time. It's turned the other way now.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of the union got more strength than the common sense, and that's what's going on. And now we play in D2 in Oklahoma. Nobody is in the NIL. But we play 6 teams in Arkansas D2, and they pay the play. Like if you're an offensive lineman, it's nothing like Alabama. If you're a starting offensive lineman in Arkansas D2, you can get $2,500, $3,000 a game. Well, you add that into what we give you. We give you 3 meals and a pizza at night. That's about all we got.
It's hard to compete with that, Coach. You got your work cut out for you there.
Yeah, we got to play hard.
Then you got a lot more experience than those guys too on how to win.
Well, we're going to try to find a way. If we can flip this one, we've been so fortunate. We've been able to flip 9 teams from worst to first. This one may be the biggest challenge. But the kids have responded. They've learned. Their football intelligence has grown immensely. The effort has grown immensely. But we're not where we got to be with physicality. So you know me, I want effort, but we also have to have physicality. And I got to get my big bags. I got them made over there at the sports store, so I can gang tackle big bags and try to get our physicality like we need to improve there.
So, Coach, how do you teach different now because of targeting and a different thing, tackling, than you would 10 years ago?
I teach everything like I did in 1974 because I never allowed you to put your helmet down. I never allowed you to spear a guy on the ground. All my drills work that way. My drills, you go over the top. When you tackle a guy with me, you have to tackle him with your eyes, and your head's got to be up. Don't want to hurt ourselves. So I really haven't changed anything. And I want the second, third, fourth, fifth guy coming. And I tell everybody, it's up to the official to stop that group from coming, not us. So we practice it. We hear the whistle, and as you know, I've never had a whistle on the practice field.
So what do you think about when in Little League, you tackle at an angle, you always put your head across. Now they don't want you to do that anymore. Do you still teach that?
Yeah, the putting your head on the backside hip, to me, is only if you're an inside fill guy and you've got an outside force guy. If I'm in the open field, I've got to get outside of you. So I either got to line up outside of you or I got to put my head outside of you, because the only help I have are the people coming inside, the down linemen. It's like the bubble screen. There's people think you can go to heaven running a bubble screen. Where if you run the bubble screen on us, we're going to turn that in, and we're going to hit you with tackles and ends, and then the bubble screen's no fun.
Oh, no, yeah. The worst thing you ever see, they won't run the bubble screen when they see their wide receiver get hit by a defensive tackle.
You got it. You are so smart. I wish you'd take the job at Alabama.
So, Coach, I'll never forget Terrence Cody tackled a guy one time on the bubble screen, and
disappeared.
It totally disappeared. You cannot see a foot, a hand, nothing.
He squashed him.
He looked like he ate him.
Yeah.
He was the damnedest thing. I've never laughed so hard in my life. I go, where'd he go?
I bet you didn't. I bet they didn't try another one.
No, that was the end of the thing of that game.
Nothing's worse than going to a game and watching 32 bubble screens. I just get up, throw up, and leave. It was sort of like we went to a Falcons game. They had 5 of us in Atlanta to honor 5 people, good quarterbacks, good players, and 1 broke-down coach. And we saw 2 14-play drives, 1 17-play drive, and they weren't close enough to kick a field goal on any of them. And finally we said, I'm leaving. We all got up and left at halftime.
That's hilarious. So what do you think about the state of the game offensively and what they're doing now? And find it interesting that Coach Saban said after the Michigan loss this year that it threw them off by them huddling.
Well, they not only huddled, they did a good job of shift in motion. They beat Alabama by getting the back out weak, but he didn't start there. They moved 3 people before Alabama figured out the back was weak by himself, and he was gone. They look a little bit like the 49ers, shift, motion, snap. So the whole thing they did to Alabama is you got run force people, you got people on the strong side, the weak side. They had to change their eyes on 3 times before the ball was snapped. And that's not new, but I don't think Alabama was probably ready for it. But, I mean, everybody practices against it, but sometimes what you do in the grease board doesn't work on the field.
No question. You know, Ohio State beat them doing the same thing back when they had when Urban Meyer, Ezekiel Elliott, throwing to him out of the backfield and doing the motion, and it seems to give Alabama a lot of trouble. But I think the fact that they huddled and ran to the line and did this and this, and it messed with the timing of the calls. And you're right, they had them confused the whole game. And I've always said the back out of the backfield was the best play to run against Alabama.
Well, it's kind of funny. It's not true if he just lines up and he's the guy weak, because the nickel safety, who's a third safety in the game, will take 2 weak. But if he wasn't 2 weak, if you had another 2 weak, and that guy motioned away, or you had a tight end and the back was 3, and the tight end gets up and he's running, the sniffer behind the line, different people then go to the back, and that's what with the nickel safety has to move with the sniffer in case he runs a route from the other side. So bam, now the will backer, he better know he's on the back, and he won't get any help until they get downfield.
Somebody has to communicate that to him, because he's not going to see it.
No. And see, I haven't changed one. You know me in walkthroughs. 1 walkthrough equals 3 practices. So just what you're pointing out, just what people do, and you know me, we walk through it, and we walk through it, and we walk through it, and then we walk through it. And you can sit there with a projector and go over the board, and that's not like doing your walkthrough.
No question.
Well, Coach, it's been an honor to have you once again.
Coach, I've missed you. It's good talking to you.
Well, I've been so excited about Tennessee baseball that now they're going to play A&M, and I was shocked because I watch every kid that comes up to bat, where he was from, where he transferred from, and I don't know what happened with Alabama baseball, but every team in the World Series had an Alabama transfer playing for them. Did they fire the baseball coach and all the kids left, or what happened?
Well, the baseball coach was betting on the games. So that's usually gets you at least suspended forever.
Well, the people in Alabama should be proud because every team in the College World Series, which there's 2 left, they have a player from Alabama on their team.
So give them the statistics about the SEC.
Coach, it's an amazing run. This is going to be the 5th straight year the SEC wins the College World Series. It's going to be 6 out of 7, and A&M and Tennessee, neither have ever won it. So it's going to be 6 different schools in 7 years to win the College World Series in Omaha, Coach.
Well, here's what you should have said, Drew. I got to get you to be a better announcer. There's 8 teams in Omaha, 4 ACC and 4 SEC, and by the time they got down to 2, the ACC was 0-5 against the SEC. I love that.
I do too, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, we really appreciate the time. Have a great rest of your evening, and thank you for joining us and talking some ball.
Great hearing from you, Coach. Great talking to you.
You're the best. Tell your partner I missed him.
Yeah, he's in Birmingham eating a hot dog right now, I guarantee you. Maybe he's on second. Thanks, Coach.
That was Jerry Glanville joining us. We're going to go on a break and wrap up hour number 1 here live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill here on The Drive here on this Thursday.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flo tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flo, think fun for everyone.
Handshake Barbershop, a vintage barbershop feel where you can catch up with an old friend and maybe make a new one. We still do classic men's haircuts, beard trims, and hot towel straight razor shaves. Plus, we offer more modern, trendy haircut services. Enjoy arcade games and rock and roll spinning on vinyl while you're here too. Book your appointment online at handshakebarbershop.com. Everything you love about your favorite barbershop, but with our own special DNA. In Arab, Gunnersville, and now at Cherokee Ridge Country Club. Online at handshakebarbershop.com. This summer, make Cheeseburger Bobby's your go-to spot for great food. Try their bucket list burger, 2 beef patties, fried egg, bacon, onion ring, 3 slices of American cheese, Bobby sauce, and topped with a pickle. Their fresh, hand-breaded chicken tenders are a fan favorite, and the chili cheese dog with fries will make you think you've died and gone to hot dog heaven. Cheeseburger Bobby's, 2785 Carl T. Jones Drive. Order online at cheeseburgerbobbies.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technologies. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
Just ask anyone. The Liosi Group.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Thursday night, low temperatures going to be falling into the low 70s for the overnight. We'll continue to sit under a mostly clear sky. Heading into our Friday, we'll see plenty of sunshine. High temperatures topping out in the mid-90s for the afternoon, but heat index values could be as high as 100 degrees. Rain returns back to the forecast on Sunday. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back. We're wrapping up the first hour here at The Drive, live at Baumhauer's on the Parkway. I'm Drew DeArmond in for Steve Moulton, who's on assignment, and we got West Neighbors here tonight. We just had a great conversation with Coach Jerry Glanville, the defensive coordinator in his first year with Northeast Oklahoma, out there on the Division II level, and he's still sharp as a tack, as you heard Coach talking about NIL, what they're going through, trying to build the program that they've, he's taken over. As he said, this is about the 10th place he's trying to go take from worst to first and flip, but he's going to do a great job out there. You can tell it doesn't matter the age. He's 82 years old, but still so sharp, and we are always honored to have him join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Now we're going to go out to the phone lines. LSU Lynch has been waiting patiently. What's up, LSU Lynch?
Oh, Lord. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. What's on your mind?
Son, look here. I only pull for two teams in the SEC. That's my team and your team, okay? What is your opinion about whoever wins the championship with the baseball game? Talk to me.
Well, I'm rooting for the Aggies.
Who thought you'd ever say that?
I'm about to make a T-shirt out of it.
To me, it doesn't matter.
Well, the SEC is going to win it.
Yeah,
we already know that.
Happy about that, and I didn't know that the ACC was 0-5 against the SEC, which I think is awesome. So, it's just the SEC is. You got to say it's the dominant in all these sports, and hopefully they'll be able to continue with all the new rules, and hopefully we'll have sports, all the sports we currently have, and I'm seriously worried about that, and it's nothing better than watching these young adults compete for championships. That's for sure.
Now let me ask both. Does the SEC, do we need any more? I don't think we need any more. I don't need a North Carolina. I sure as hell don't need a Florida Suck University. What's your opinion?
So I'll say this. I'm for whatever's good for the conference, whether that includes those teams or not. I think it would be awesome. What kind of basketball league would it be if you could select North Carolina, Duke, and NC State?
Yeah.
And then you got to be able to compete with the Big Ten.
Yeah.
You don't want to let them get the upper hand.
Well,
so I got mixed emotions. I get what you're saying, but I think if you got Miami, Florida State, and Clemson for football, and 4 of the others for the basketball, it'd be the best conference by far. It would add households to the footprint, and maybe that would help also be able to mitigate some of these lawsuits, because there's going to be a money crunch because of the lawsuits. And listen, LSU Lynch, if we don't do something about these lawsuits, it's going to be a huge mess. This is just the beginning of the mess.
Well, yeah, that's what we're going to talk to Christy Dosh about, the business writer for Forbes magazine. She's heavily involved in the business of collegiate sports and what's going on. So, look, I mean, hey, all I can say, I would definitely be, everybody knows I'm a basketball guy, I would definitely be in favor of adding Duke and Carolina, NC State. I don't know if Wes is kind of talking about going maybe to 24. I've been talking about going to 20. And if you add those Carolina schools, you're in that state now. You're in North Carolina, which they aren't. And then the other one, I would probably look at Virginia, kind of an East Coast school that is very prestigious academically and athletically. And that way you would – I know some people even said Virginia and Virginia Tech, but they've historically really never been in the same conference for very long. So if you got UVA and you got those 3 Carolina schools, because they're kind of joined at the hip, to me, the SEC would dominate intercollegiate athletics. They're already dominating softball, baseball, and football, but that would give them a stranglehold on basketball, because NC State just made the Final Four, and you already know Carolina and Duke are 2 of the 5 blue bloods in the sport, which you would have at your disposal with.
Yeah, so to me, it would add huge to the you'd have the historically best teams in basketball and the historically best teams in football.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you need Clemson, Miami, and
but you don't and you do. I think you're talking about Miami. Who's down in my? I mean,
in Florida State, excuse me, and that's what LSU Lynch was talking about.
But you look at Miami. They have one of the greatest followings in the country. Right?
To a degree, but they can't even build an on-campus stadium.
Who cares? What does that matter?
And I think their fan base is fickle, myself.
Well, they're all fickle.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody can be Alabama. I'm not trying to compare them to Alabama. All I'm trying to say is it's one of the largest cities in the nation. How many households are in there? And how much interest. I think the best thing Miami would ever do was join the Southeastern Conference. For Miami, to be honest with you.
Yep.
It's households. How many households are going to bring? It's a national name. It's a national recognized name. I think it would work.
Look here, y'all go back to eating the chicken wings and drinking a cold beer right there. Thank you for taking my phone.
Well, yeah, sure. Thank you. And we've already checked all those marks already.
Oh, we have, and more.
Look here, thank y'all always taking my phone.
Yes, sir. Thank you, LSU Lynch. We're wrapping up hour 1. And we will have our second guest of the evening as she will lead off hour number 2, Christy Dosh, set to join us here live from Baumhower's Victory Hill. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, legendary fun, legendary food.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. It's official now. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports J.J. Redick is the new head coach of the Lakers. Redick will sign a 4-year contract. But NBA analyst Udonis Haslem wonders if there could be trouble ahead.
We understand how great of a basketball mind that J.J. Redick is, but we also understand how great of a basketball mind that LeBron James has. And we also understand that these NBA players today spend 95% of the time focusing on the things they can't control. You can't control the relationship like LeBron has with J.J. Redick.
Udonis Haslem on NBA Today. Redick has been co-hosting a basketball podcast with LeBron James for the last few months. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson will get a 4-year contract extension for $36 million, $17 million guaranteed. The Royals put right-hander Dan Altavilla on the injured list today with a right oblique strain. On Sunday, Altavilla threw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball that broke the left wrist of Dodgers shortstop Mookie Betts. Today on the scoreboard, the Royals beat the A's 3-2. Freddie Fermin with 2 home runs for Kansas City. The Rays beat the Twins 7-6 on Johnny DeLuca's game-winning RBI in the 10th after Minnesota had tied the game with 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Coco Gauff will head Team USA Tennis at the Paris Olympics. Others on the team include Jessica Pegula, Taylor Fritz, and Tommy Paul.
It's Evan Cohen coming up Friday with NBA free agency days away. I'll tell you which players need a new team if they want to be title contenders. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
.97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of The Drive. I am Drew DeArmond, sitting in for the one and only Steve Moulton. Wes Neighbors here with me as we are going to go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and our next guest is set to join us. And we've been talking a lot of NIL this evening because we talked about it with Coach Jerry Glanville, who's still going strong, 82 years old at Northeast Oklahoma A&M. He's on the Division II level. He talked to us and told us that NIL is not a big, factor in their league, at least in the Oklahoma / Texas part of it. Now, on the Arkansas side, he said there is a little bit of money being spent on players for those schools, but still, when it's compared to Division I football and where we are right now, it's just not on the same level. And so we're going to talk with our next guest. She is the business sports writer for Forbes magazine, and she is heavily involved in the realm of business on the collegiate sports side and the financial part of it. And I got to tell you, it's a very tumultuous time is what I would call it. Time of uncertainty in big-time collegiate athletics because it's kind of like there's free reign going on right now, especially on the Power 5 level. And we're going to talk to Christy Dosh, who's been kind enough to join us tonight, and she's going to talk with myself and Wes Neighbors. Christy, this is Drew DeArmond sitting in for Steve Moulton. Wes Neighbors here with me tonight. How are you?
Hey, guys. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, Christy, you haven't been busy this year, have you?
Oh, boy. You know what? Summers used to be quiet, and then NIL happened in 2021, and I haven't had a quiet summer ever since.
You know, and I'm almost embarrassed. Every day I come to and we talk about it, and because it is the elephant in the room that continues to change and morph and no, it's not intended to do what it's done. The combination of the portal and NIL but these lawsuits kind of, I mean, it seems like how many other years ago, was it 3 or 4 years ago, now the Supreme Court pretty much invited lawyers to be able to sue, and that doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon.
No, you know, that case, the Alston case, was really about what we call education-related benefits. It wasn't supposed to be about NIL, except the judges ended up writing all this language in the opinion about NIL and sort of made it clear that if an NIL case ever came in front of them, they were going to side with the college athletes. And so ever since then, you know, not only have we seen rules changes within the NCAA, we've seen a lot of state laws change regarding NIL. And then I'd say for the last year, it really started before that, but the sort of momentum over the last year for revenue sharing and for athletes becoming employees and for other types of compensation has really sort of reached a fever pitch. And here we are. I just saw today a couple of schools coming out and talking more openly about what they plan to do with revenue sharing. And, you know, on the one hand, it's sort of interesting to see how that's all going to unfold, and it seems like maybe there might be some stability in college athletics when this goes into place, but that's a little bit of an illusion because there are still a lot of lawsuits out there pending, and there are a lot of lawsuits I think can still be filed based even on the terms that are going to be in this settlement that are going to sort of kickstart revenue sharing. So I don't know. I think next summer might be messy too.
So is there a way, I guess what to me is going to have to happen is Congress is going to have to get involved, or this is just going to get messier and messier with all these lawsuits?
Yeah, you know, you'd like to see Congress step in just to say, okay, here is how things need to look. You know, they could say athletes either are or aren't employees and can or cannot collectively bargain. They could, you know, weigh in on revenue sharing. They could weigh in on whether or not international student athletes can do more NIL deals. There are a lot of open issues here where they could come in. The problem is there just has never been a consensus in Congress as to what this should look like. There have been any number. I mean, we're talking over a dozen different bills over the last 4 years or so relative to NIL and to the employment question, and they've never even made it out of committee before. So I wish we would see some sort of national standard come out of Congress, but I'm still not holding out a lot of hope for that.
And Christy, I guess that it's hard to say and tell right now, but you were talking about next summer being even messier, from the lawsuit standpoint. With where we are right now and where we're going, is it going to help when they get the election behind them, or is there still going to be just as messy? Because I know with the presidential election coming up in November, a lot of people have talked about how they're not going to focus on things like the NCAA and things like that. A lot of what's going on is getting the next administration or continuing the current one within the president's office. Is it going to matter if they get the presidential election and in the rearview mirror, and then kind of is this going to be one of the things they concentrate on, or does that even come into, in your mind, is that even going to be even a big deal, I guess?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of discussion around this, and that, if the Republicans are controlling Congress after the election, we might be more likely to see something from Congress. I don't know enough about that to know whether it's true or not. I mean, we've all been talking about this since 2020 when we kind of knew NIL was coming online and nothing has happened. And again, the momentum just hasn't been there. All these bills, the issue is they've all been really different. And some congressmen have different priorities within it than others. Some want to see, health and safety and other issues in the bill. And so then it holds up, these NIL and employment pieces of the bill. And not to say that health and safety aren't important and might need to be addressed, but the problem is no one can agree what should go in the bill. And so you have all these competing bills and they're not making it out of committee. And I really think the NCAA brought Charlie Baker in because of his political background in the hopes that he would know how to navigate this. And not that I'm making any sort of judgment call on whether he has or he hasn't yet. I do think he has been trying and that he is still optimistic he can make something happen. So I think the hope is that with this House settlement, if people have heard about this case, which would bring about revenue sharing, we should hear from the judge on that and potentially get that approved by early 2025. And so it would go into effect for the 2025-2026 school year. And that's why schools are already starting to budget now and talk about what might happen. And I think he's hoping to take that settlement to Congress and asking them to essentially codify what's going to be in that settlement to help to protect against future lawsuits. I could see that potentially being successful. I mean, I'm no expert in that realm, but it makes some sense to me that maybe they could make some progress with that. And I think the biggest priority for them is going to be Congress saying that college athletes are not employees, because we've already had a ruling by the National Labor Relations Board with Dartmouth men's basketball saying that they are, and that's now going up on appeal, but that's still a really open-ended question that revenue sharing doesn't solve.
Yes, and Christy, from what I understand, is the biggest thing is there's a segment of the Democratic Party that wants not only these players to be employees, but want them to be unionized, and that opens another can of worms. And also, there's a group that want the collectives to stay in power. In other words, that you have to do business through these collectives. Of course, the collectives are making a huge fee. I think up to 10% or is it more on some of this money?
Yeah, it depends on the collective. So I would say the average collective keeps anywhere from 10 to 15% of what it's bringing in, and then the rest is distributed to the athletes. But there are also collectives who are taking nothing. In fact, I was at a conference last week out in Las Vegas with athletic administrators from all over the country, and I can't remember which school it was, but it was certainly a Power 5 school, was up on one of the panels, and they were saying that they have a booster who essentially funds through his own money the administration costs of the collective, so that 100% of the money coming in from brands or from boosters to the collective goes to the athletes. So it really varies from one collective to the next. But I don't think they're going away. I listened to panel after panel for 5 days last week, and absolutely no one who works in college athletics said that collectives were going away. They really feel like they serve some important functions in terms of being able to negotiate and sort of manage NIL deals that they don't have the staff and the manpower to do. But also there's some Title IX insulation to having that money change hands outside of the athletic department, because if they pull all that in and the athletic department is the one raising the money for NIL and distributing, Title IX is going to apply and more money is going to need to go to female athletes. But if collectives are set up sort of with the appropriate measures to keep them separate from the athletic department, Title IX does not apply. And that's why we see a lot of collectives who only work with football or who primarily work with men's sports, because that's allowed for a collective.
So every time I have you on, I learn something. I did not know that. And that makes sense.
Well, I'm happy to help.
Yes. And it's because, my biggest fear, and I think this will get them to do something actually, is the fact walk-ons going away. Of course, walk-ons are going away so they can cut women's sports, because walk-ons on Title IX count as scholarships, men's scholarships. So that's two negatives to this, in my opinion. So
honestly, I think a lot of sports are potentially going away. The sort of the new rules are that now everyone can be on scholarship. So, this conversation always happens with baseball and how fragmented their scholarships are. Well, now everyone on the baseball team can be on full scholarship, but roster sizes are going to adjust. And the biggest roster size adjustment we're going to see, it sounds like, is going to be football. Although I saw today several schools sort of fighting back against that, and they don't want to lose their walk-on culture. But, I think that with revenue sharing, I saw Ohio State today say they're going to fund the full $22 million. I think I saw Illinois maybe say it too. There were 3 or 4 schools I saw today announce they're going to do the full $22 million a year in revenue sharing. And a lot of the discussion at this conference last week was what happens to all the other sports, men's and women's, when you get outside of those top sports, are going to be adjusted. Some of them are going to end up being club sports. Some of them are going to get cut altogether. So I do think that this is going to usher in a really different look in college athletics when this revenue starts to be shared with the athletes.
So $22 million will go to the basketball and football players? Is that what they're talking about, or all players?
No. So Title IX would apply for revenue sharing. Now, there's a big debate among Title IX attorneys and other experts in this space. I have talked to dozens of them, and they disagree a little bit about how it applies. Some of them are saying, really, to be safe, it's got to be, 50-50 men's and women. Some are saying it's got to be in proportion to your male and female enrollment. So say your school's 56% female and, what is that, 44% male, then you've got to divide the revenue sharing money in those same proportions. Others are saying you have to offer the same number of opportunities. So let's say you decide to do revenue sharing with 150 male athletes. Well, then you have to do revenue sharing with 150 female athletes. But those people are saying it does not have to be the same amounts, that it can be based on market value and what is each of those individual athletes worth. And so we don't really know yet. Schools are all taking different approaches, and every single school is going to get to make its own rules. They will be able to share up to, the initial number is supposedly going to be 21 or 22 million. So they can be anywhere from 0 up to that number. And then each individual school will get to decide exactly which athletes are getting money and how much they're getting.
So certainly be, if it's based on revenue, on the amount of revenue each sport's bringing?
So here's how they came up with the number. They looked at the Power 5, which now is sort of the Power 4, but they looked at the budgets for the Power 5 during the course of this lawsuit, and they decided on a number that is the average of the Power 5 revenue, and then it is a percentage of that. I think the percentage was either 20 or 22%, and that's how much they're sharing with athletes. And for the first either 3 or 4 years, it is a set number in this settlement, and then after, and I think it escalates by 4% a year. But then after the 4th year, it's actually going to be recalculated, and they're only looking at certain revenue categories. I was able to talk to the attorneys on both sides for a piece that I wrote, and they said it's based on ticket sales, sponsorships, and broadcast money. It is not based on donations. So if schools can really somehow manage to figure out how to accelerate and grow donations or other sources of revenue, then they're going to be able to offset a little bit of that revenue sharing because it's based on just those 3 categories. But it is based on an average across the Power 5 and eventually probably the Power 4, and not on each school's individual budget.
So how much of the $22 million is going to the attorneys?
That's a great question. So for revenue sharing, none of it. However, that case, the House settlement, part of that settlement is $2.8 billion going in back pay to athletes who played from, I believe the dates are June 15th of 2016 to November 3rd of 2023. That $2.8 million is going to those athletes, and that is determined by the court. There's going to be a formula. They're bringing in a sports economist for that. That's a little different than the revenue sharing going forward.
I got you. So it's the back pay. Of course, all my kids were gone about the year before that. That's the way it works.
Yeah, but that's part of the argument people have about this settlement is it has sort of been trotted out as it solves all the problems and there aren't going to be lawsuits over this anymore. But that's not true, because I think I just saw a couple of days ago a new lawsuit be filed by a team that was from either the 80s or the 90s. I didn't report on it, so I can't remember off the top of my head.
I tell you, NC State, 1983, the 83 national championship team.
83 NC State.
I was born in 81. I don't even remember that. But they have filed saying they should have been paid back then. So essentially anyone who played before that June 15th, 2016 date still has a valid case they can take to court and try to get back pay. So this only solves one small set of problems.
So does this include every school?
It includes all Division I schools. Football
all Division I schools.
And in fact, for the back pay, you've got non-football Division I schools who are going to have to pay part of that back pay, most of which will go to football-playing Division I schools. Or for their athletes.
This all just seems made up almost.
Yes. You know, you get lawyers in there, and so your original question was about the lawyers' fees. It will be taken out of that $2.8 billion. They will get a hefty chunk of that, but they will not get any of the revenue sharing going forward.
And so this is a done deal here, right? This settlement.
Well, not exactly. So there are some lawyers. I just read a lawyer earlier today who isn't so sure that it's going to get approved. So the two sides have agreed on it. The NCAA and the folks who filed the class action, they have all agreed to this. But now the judge has to approve it, and she will actually accept people who want to come to court and want to say, no, this isn't fair, this isn't what it should look like. She will hear their complaints, and she will have to decide whether to approve this or not. We don't expect her to get to that approval phase until early 2025. So everybody's sort of budgeting for it and planning for it now, assuming it's going to happen, because you can't wait. If it doesn't happen until next summer and you've got to implement it by fall, that's too fast. So everybody's trying to get their ducks in a row right now. But she could flip this back. She could decide not to approve it. I would say the vast majority of people think it's going to get approved, but there's definitely some attorneys out there who aren't so sure.
It's too arbitrary, in my mind. It's just, okay, we're going to throw this day.
It doesn't cover enough time. Like we were just talking about, it only goes back to 2016. What about the people before that? I think about, I was in law school at UF when Tebow was there and they were winning national championships. None of those players are eligible, so there are bound to be players who are outside of this class who played before 2016 who aren't included and feel like they still have a claim. So it'll be interesting to see, but certainly everyone in college athletics is moving forward as if it is a done deal and going to happen. And I think they have to. I think for planning purposes, you have to assume it's going to happen and plan for it and then be ready to adjust if it doesn't.
So I think there have been 10 people in my family play college football for Southeastern Conference schools. And I'll give my money back if they just make the lawsuit go away and we can get back to the way we were doing it.
Yeah, I think it's too late to make the lawsuit go away. We're going to get something out of this. We just don't know exactly what it's going to look like.
It seems, but as you said, and my biggest concern is they're trying to sell this as all these lawsuits are going away. To me, they're just beginning, and until
there's about a dozen lawsuits out there. This only settles 3 of them.
So yeah, it's to me. They're selling a Pied Piper. I mean, it's not going away. And to me, if I was the NCAA, I'd be lobbying very hard with Congress to try to get something done next year. If you can get where there's there are some Democrats that are for letting a lot of people like the collectives, and now I know why, because it takes Title IX out of it. I didn't like the collectives because I don't think I understand them well enough. I was approached to start a collective with 5 different people, all lawyers,
yeah,
want me to help
a lot of schools.
Yeah, and I didn't want to. Of course,
3 different collectives.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. So I guess my point is, I think there's a way to do it now where you can keep Title IX out of it and Congress can do their thing and just make it where they get an exemption as long as they're selling, they're sharing revenue going forward, which would be the perfect thing. Because the athletes, no doubt, were taking advantage of. I don't think when I played we were. Because when we were played, we got the full benefit of the scholarships and got we had the cost of attendance. But when my kids went to school, they didn't get cost of attendance, and I actually had to pay money for them to have a decent place to live. So that's when they were done wrong, and then they changed it, And now I think the athlete, it's flipped going the other way because and the money they're getting now is huge. And maybe that's why they're going back to 216. That's when a lot of the revenue went up for a lot of these schools.
People see the coaching contracts and the facilities that are hundreds of millions of dollars, and see all of that money being pumped into the system instead of being pumped into the athletes. And the argument is, if you started sharing revenue with the athletes, coaching salaries would plateau. You wouldn't build flashy facilities that you don't need. For me, it was a big wake-up call the first time I went in an NFL locker room, because I had already been spending time in college, locker rooms, and you've got like motion-activated lights that come on, and the songs start playing, and all sorts of things. These facilities are really flashy. And then I went in an NFL facility, and it was a brand new one, and I was like, "Really? This is it?" because they don't have to recruit.
Yeah.
So
they're business. They're real businesses, right? They have people that own that business.
Yeah, and now people are going to recruit with NIL and with revenue sharing instead of with flashy facilities. At least that's sort of the argument being made for those that are in favor of sharing revenue with the athletes, is that it's going to sort of right the ship and stop spending on those sorts of things.
Stuff from Christy Dodge. We appreciate you for coming on. It's a turbulent time in college sports, but you do a great job. Sports Biz Miss on X. She does a great job for Forbes magazine. She's also heavily involved in NIL as well. And she does a great job in educating people with jobs in NIL. And, of course, that's a huge part of college sports right now, jobs in NIL and at NIL Island. But, Christy, we appreciate it. And we really always, like Wes said, every time you come on, we learn something. I certainly did myself as well. But thank you for taking the time to join us and let us know where things stand right now in collegiate athletics from the standpoint of everything going on off of the field of competition.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're going to go on our first break. Thank you to Christy. And we're going to take your phone calls from the rest of the show, 256-576-4977, on this Thursday edition of The Drive, live from Baumhower's Victory Grill.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, Bobby White here for Woody Anderson Ford. Get ready to experience the ride of your life with our summer lineup. First up, the 2024 Bronco Sport. We've got nearly 75 to choose from. Bronco Sport is built for adventure with its rugged design, all-terrain capability, and advanced tech features. And right now at Woody Anderson Ford, you get $1,750 in total cash back. And yes, we do have the Bronco Badlands Edition in stock. Need something bigger? Check out the award-winning Expedition. Perfect for families and summer vacation, it offers spacious comfort, top-notch safety features, and plus, we've got 24 Expedition financing as low as 2.9% for up to 72 months. And for all you truck lovers, we've got the 2024 F-150. America's favorite truck, delivers unmatched power and innovative features, and we've got financing as low as 3.9% for 60 months on F-150. Plus, these are the final hours of no payments for 90 days on select models, including Expedition, Bronco Sport, Explorer, and more. These offers are with your good credit, and they end July 8th. Come on in to Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flow tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flow, think fun for everyone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
AL cert number 21014.
As the summertime approaches, and if you are in the business for a new air conditioning unit, only one place to call, Talent Heating and Air. Thomas from Talent Heating and Air with us. Thomas, this is the time.
That's right. People are needing HVAC, air conditioner repairs done left and right, and we're here to serve.
Talk about the services that Talent Heating and Air can provide.
So Talent Heating and Air, we can come out, we can fix your unit, we can replace your unit, or we can just do maintenance on your unit. We cover all aspects of anything to do with your house and HVAC, from mini splits to gas pack.
In the name of free, Talent Heating and Air offering several free things.
That's right. We're offering a free second opinion. We always offer that year round. And then we're also offering a free service call with a repair during regular hours. So
okay, it's Talent Heating and Air. Give them a call at
256-503-4490.
You can also find them online at
that's talenthvac.com.
Give Talent Heating and Air a call today.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Welcome back to The Drive. I'm Drew DeArmond, and Steve Moulton. I believe he's taking in historic Rickwood Field tonight. Rickwood Field is hosting a Major League Baseball game. It's the oldest ballpark in the United States. It's a historical monument. It has been spruced up, renovated, and they are going to host a minor league game with the Birmingham Barons every year, and did a couple of days ago. But now with I believe it was Birmingham and the Montgomery Biscuits in the Southern League AA. But tonight the big leagues are going to shine the spotlight on Birmingham, Alabama. It's going to be the San Francisco Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals. And of course, just 2 days ago, we were saddened to hear of the passing of Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, at 93 years old, originally from just outside of Birmingham in Fairfield. He was a guy that played for the Birmingham Black Barons when he was 17 years old. By the time he was 20, he'd already moved into, from the Negro leagues into the major leagues. As far as he quickly worked his way up with the New York Giants, helped lead them to the World Series in 1954. He was MVP that year. Probably made the most famous catch in World Series history in the Polo Grounds. The crazy thing about that, we were talking about it on Talking Ball earlier this week, the dimensions of the Polo Grounds back in those days were insane. I think center field was like 489 feet. So Willie Mays was arguably the greatest baseball player to ever live. When you're talking about 660 home runs, 338 stolen bases, and when he stole 40 bags, I think in 1956, he led the National League, and that was the most stolen bases since 1929. So he kind of brought the stolen base back into baseball. Had over 3,000 hits, a .301 career batting average, 24 seasons he played in the major leagues, and was a 24-time All-Star and 12-time Gold Glover. And to show you that he's stood the test of time, those 12 Gold Gloves as an outfielder are still tied for the most all time. So Willie Mays, Wes, I know they use the term legend. Sometimes it's overused, but that's definitely accurate when you're talking about the Say Hey Kid.
There's no question. I mean, the guy was amazing and is a legend among legends, no question. Lived to be 93. What a life. And how many? I mean, the greatest players ever in sports. How many are from Alabama? It's really unbelievable. Jesse Owens, Bo Jackson. I mean, you look at it, it's really incredible.
And you could say that, definitely that Bo was the greatest athlete of his generation. So you got Bo, you got Jesse Owens, two of the greatest athletes ever. You've got Willie Mays and Hank Aaron. The Hammer, we all know, I still consider him the home run king. We all know what happened with Bonds and all those guys. But, the Hammer was, and we lost him, just a couple years ago. So Hank was amazing, and he played in the Negro Leagues. And then for the Milwaukee and then Atlanta Braves, had such a storied career in baseball, and then was a huge part of the Braves organization in the front office. He was so well respected in the game of baseball, no question about that. You got John Stallworth, who lives in our community, and I mean, he's a Hall of Fame guy. He grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, played at Alabama A&M. There's been so many great athletes, Wes, that have come out of this state. And I just read a statistic. I think Alabama has got the 7th most Hall of Famers baseball-wise that have come out of the state. So there's been a ton of guys come out of this state that were, and that's not even counting the great players like the Jimmy Keys of the world that came out of Huntsville that you're very familiar with, that became an all-star pitcher and a world champion in the major leagues.
A lot of those guys, and two really good baseball players that we honored this week in the Rocket City Awards. Anyway, yeah,
Craig Kimbrell, 450 saves nearly. He's in the top 5 all time. He's had a remarkable career. He pitched for Butch Weaver at Lee High School and did a great job. And then, of course, for Randy Putman at Wallace State Community College, was slated to go to the University of Alabama. And then the Major League Draft, the Atlanta Braves had other ideas. And so he went pro out of junior college and has never looked back and has had just an unbelievable – the longevity for Craig has been amazing. To keep himself healthy, and he's now pitching for the Baltimore Orioles and is their closer. And West, they've got one of the best young teams in baseball. They made the playoffs a year ago. Craig, he won a World Series with the Boston Red Sox a few years ago. I've been saying this, if he can continue to stay healthy, maybe reach that 500 save level, which is very difficult to do, and then win another World Series, he's going to have a Hall of Fame resume. I mean, that's pretty amazing, and going to join that list of guys that we were just speaking about.
Yeah, you had a listener send Willie McCovey.
Willie McCovey, another Hall of Famer. That's one of the Hall of Famers they're referring to. I had a listener today, and this is track and field, and he's one of the all-time greats, but it's Carl Lewis, who was born in Alabama.
That's true, yep.
People forget about that, man.
Mostly trained in Houston, but was born in Alabama. It's unbelievable. You go back and look.
Mm-hmm. Really is. No doubt about it. And they have Willie Mays, who's 24 now, on the field there as this game at Rickwood Field is getting underway. And we're watching it here from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Come join us. Come eat some great food, watch some great baseball, and have some great conversation. And speaking of conversation, we've got open phone lines, 256-576-4977, if you want to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline and talk baseball, talk football. We've had a really good show, an educational show.
Learned a lot from Coach Glanville.
You're always going to get educated when you talk to Jerry Glanville, because he's seen everything in football. And is still so sharp, and I admire him for still wanting to coach and still having, the health and the energy to want to be a part of it and help young people. Well, that's what he started talking about, though, Wes, when he was in the USFL helping 3 guys that maybe got overlooked, signed with the San Diego Chargers back in those days. I don't want to say Los Angeles, but they were the San Diego Chargers back in those days.
But, I get it. Helping those 3 guys that have dreams and aspirations, and for whatever reason, one thing, and we talked about it before. Yeah. You can be as good as you want to be. Sprain an ankle, you're going to make the team. You sprain the ankle, and all of a sudden you're not going to make the team. It is that hard. There's 10 to 15 guys that are going to make the team, and everybody else is expendable.
Well, I'll reference someone in your family that may have had a chance to make a team when Connor got hurt for the Titans.
No question.
Yeah,
really well.
And he was a special team stalwart at LSU. That's how he got on the radar, got a scholarship very quickly, then became a fullback that got on the field. But, when he was –
he played in 43 games. That's unbelievable, you think, for a walk-on. And, of course, it was in the plans to give him a scholarship the whole time, but only if he played. That was the deal. He played in the first game, so he was there.
Yeah, and we've seen, I was talking about, Bill Bates the other day, because Bill was a stalwart at Tennessee and then was a free agent with the Cowboys and then played maybe longer than any Cowboy ever did and was one of the best special teams players ever. Steve Tasker with the Buffalo Bills, has been a broadcaster as well after his playing days. He's another Hall of Fame level special teams player. I know Nick Saban referenced a guy that he had with him in the NFL that played forever and played special teams. Belichick, I know he's moved on from New England, but he just had a guy retire that I think played 15, 16 years and was a captain for him and was a special teams player.
Yeah, so, that's how you get on the field when you're young in the NFL and in college. You'll see all these guys that are on the kickoff team, and you kind of you earn your stripes, right? You got to prove that you can play and that you're trustworthy. They're just not going to put you out there because you make one or two good plays in practice.
No, they're not, and they're gonna have to trust you. And then, for Connor to do what he did at LSU was amazing to prove himself that quickly. And people forget. I know he's told me the story before that I think they started him out at linebacker, kind of like they did you. And then they switched him to fullback.
They did it a lot quicker with him than they did me.
Because you redshirted a year doing that.
They were. Actually, I wasn't supposed to be redshirted.
Right.
I was going to play at linebacker in the first game.
Wow.
And hurt my ankle, tore ligaments in my ankle, and was out for a month. I was going to play, had no business playing,
right.
But they were going to get me ready.
You were just telling Jay Lamb, the true freshmen aren't usually ready to play.
No, I was not mentally ready to play, but physically they knew I could do it, and mentally I've been lost as a Bessie bug, I'll tell you. And playing linebacker, I was the fattest linebacker in captivity in Tuscaloosa at the time. So it's everything works out for a reason.
Well, we've heard Coach Sylvester Cream's testimony on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, so it was the linebacker room was incredible though.
Oh, during your heyday. You're talking about Cornelius Bennett, Derek Thomas.
Before they got there though.
Yeah.
Robbie Jones, 10 years, NFL Giants.
Yeah.
Mike Pitts.
Right.
Who, God rest his soul. Number 1 draft pick. Played for the Lyon Falcons forever. Eddie Lowe, Woodrow's brother. MVP in Canada. MVP in Canada. You had Cornelius. A lot of people don't talk much about, he holds the record for tackles, Wayne Davis.
Yeah, I was going to say Ben Davis' dad, Wayne
Davis.
Such a great player.
From Gordo. There were so many good linebackers in this room. It's really awe-inspiring if you think about it. And there's a couple guys that were really good that you never heard of because they tore their knees up.
Right.
And was career-ending for a couple of them. Anyway, it's just Marcus Hill was a guy that nobody's ever heard of that was an unbelievable player and made every tackle in practice for 6 weeks and then tore his knee up and never played again. So it's one of those things where there's always some luck involved.
And then another guy that we lost way too soon, he played during the time, came along toward the end of your career, and then, of course, was there with Keith, and that's Keith McCants.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, Keith was a freak athlete.
Yeah, he really was.
And a number 1 pick for Tampa Bay Bucks. So.
Yeah, and made the transition to defensive end after playing stand-up linebacker at the University of Alabama. No question about that. But, again, you can give us a call, 256-576-4977. And I wanted to pay homage, too, to a friend that's of the show, and he just retired and is going to Fayetteville High School to coach now. But he was a frequent guest on Talking Ball. But I wanted to pay homage to Jamie Coggins. who now it's been publicized and it's out there that he has retired after 12 years at Sparkman High School. Spent 17 at the school, the last 12 as head coach, head boys basketball coach over there. Spent 29 years in the state of Alabama teaching and coaching. He's a local guy. He played at Austin High School, over in Decatur, and then spent really his entire career in Madison County teaching and coaching. But, his wife has also taken another job. She was at Sparkman for 22 years herself. She's now going to be working in the Huntsville City school system. But Coach Coggins is going to be an assistant coach at Fayetteville High School, just over the state line in Tennessee. But what a great man, a guy that I've built a really good rapport and relationship with. Big Alabama guy as well. And he and David Hughes did a great job, his longtime assistant, building that Sparkman program into a powerhouse. Went to 2 Final Fours, went to 12 straight Sweet 16s. They're just an amazing run, 4 Elite Eights, and nearly won a state championship. His point guard, Rakia Battle, broke his ankle before they played in the state championship game against a really good Mountain Brook team before 7A came along. But he was led that year by a great group, including a sophomore guard, Lamonte Turner, who would go on to be a Tennessee Vol. So, but Jamie Coggins did a great job for, the youth. Won 2 straight Huntsville City Classics. Last year, Huntsville broke through and won, but the previous 2 were won by Jamie Coggins, and he won the 2 inaugural Jerry Dugan Coach of the Tournament Awards, and I just think he's really had a great run. Hope someday that he's in the Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame, but just wanted to pay homage to Coach Coggins and what he meant to our community and wish him all the luck now in his next phase in the state of Tennessee. But yeah, I'm sure he'll help that Fayetteville program quite a bit. He was a great assistant and then made that transition to head coach over at Sparkman High School. But I tell you what, we're going to take our final timeout. When we come back, we're going to close things down here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. You can give us a call, 256-576-4977, as the drive rolls on.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Embark on a flavorful journey at the Brewers Cooperative. Located within the vibrant community hub of Stovehouse in Huntsville, our brewery isn't just about crafting exceptional beers. It's a destination where culinary delights and local brews harmonize. Whether you're seeking a laid-back lunch or a lively dinner with friends, our diverse menu has something to please every palate. With a commitment to quality and a passion for innovation, we invite you to savor the unique flavors of Huntsville's craft beer scene at the Brewers Cooperative. Call 256-678-7036. The Brewers Cooperative.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
It's freezer season at Owen Home Appliance Center. So if rising temps have that freezer on its last leg, check out the name brand frost-free upright and chest freezers. Best of all, Owen Home Appliance has them in stock and ready to go or have delivered. Don't let all that high-dollar food go to waste. Go to Owen Home Appliance Center and get that new freezer. And while supplies last, get a $50 gift card towards the purchase of Wagyu beef when you purchase a freezer. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said,
If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Thursday night, low temperatures going to be falling into the low 70s for the overnight. We'll continue to sit under a mostly clear sky. Heading into our Friday, we'll see plenty of sunshine. High temperatures topping out in the mid-90s for the afternoon, but heat index values could be as high as 100 degrees. Rain returns back to the forecast on Sunday. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Each week, check out our latest Zone deal online at 977ESPN.com.
I'm eating good food.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out.
Final few minutes of the drive here live from Baumhower's Victory Grill as the game at Rickwood Field rolls on. Scoreless right now between the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants. We got a fly out to the warning track there. Now I think we have our first run of the contest as we have a sack fly, and we now have our first tally of the game as it's now 1-0. And they have, of course, the throwback Negro League uniforms as well. So this is just like a look back in time. So a great night, and our own Steve Moulton, I believe, is over there. He's going to have a firsthand report of this historic evening.
Well, he's quote unquote covering it for the station.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, he's done that with our Atlanta Braves. Of course, we are a affiliate for the Braves as well, and they're starting to turn around a little bit, get the bats going.
Hard to tell San Francisco from St. Louis with a receiver.
It is. It's 1-0 Cardinals, though. Yeah. So there you go. As the Cardinals have taken an early lead over the San Francisco Giants, the St. Louis Cardinals 1-0. Tommy Newport excited, Huntsville High fixture, who is a huge Cardinals fan, has family over there in St. Louis, Missouri. And the Cardinals have one of the best followings in all of baseball. I mean, and we all know that back in the day, when my dad was growing up, that's where Harry Carey, everybody remembers him with the Cubs, but he and Jack Buck were the duo that brought everybody St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Yeah. And speaking of the Cardinals, somebody just hit a ball on top of a roof. So it looks like the Cardinals have extended their lead to 3-0.
Yeah.
With a 2-run homer. So, but you can give us a call, 256-576-4977. Last few minutes of the drive here live from Baumhower's Victory Grill. I'm going to be partaking in some dinner tonight after we wrap up this outstanding show. But we appreciate Christy Dosh of course, as we said on X, she's Sports Biz Miss. She's an adjunct professor at Florida, former attorney, but she's done a great job of creating, with Forbes magazine as a sports business writer and then covering NIL. She's as we said,
one of the best guests we've had for years.
Well, yeah, because she's so well versed in sports business and what's going on, and even with NIL now, she's got NIL Island. She's doing a great job, educating people with NIL, even helping them find jobs and connections with the NIL, and because it's really still only a couple of years old. So once again, she's at the forefront, though, and we appreciate her for joining us. And, of course, it's never boring when you talk to Jerry Glanville. You always learn something, whether about the history of football or what's going on now. And, I mean, it was very interesting to listen to him, what he said about losing 3 prospective starters off his defense.
It's happening everywhere.
At Northeast Oklahoma.
And it's the smaller schools.
Yeah.
It's the smaller schools.
We talked about the MAC.
It's they're uncompensated minor league for these big schools now.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. And it's sad to me for the schools. Not that these kids shouldn't be able to go anywhere they want, but not every semester. There's something very wrong with that.
Well, you've already said, and I agree with it. I think part of this settlement needs to be with the movement of the players. Like, you can move once during your 4 to 5 years, and then if you graduate, move again. But being able to transfer 5 times, 4 and 5 times is insane.
Yeah, and they're not going to graduate. It's almost impossible.
I don't know. I know how it is. I mean, you have had family members that tried to transfer. The credits don't all transfer, man.
No, they don't transfer, but the statistic is every time you transfer, there's a 20% chance you don't graduate.
Right.
So if you transfer 3 times, it's 60% you're not graduating. And there you go.
No question. No doubt. But it's going to be very interesting to see the future of collegiate sports. And Christy Dosh kind of helped us to just let us know where things stand right now. And a lot of it is the lawsuits, the different prospective states, and where we are politically, too, because we're in the middle of a presidential election and a changeover in Congress.
I think that has the best chance of getting it passed is the first of next year, and with the threat of a lot of these teams going to club sports.
Yeah,
that these people are going to lose out on their scholarships.
That's huge.
And
so many educational opportunities.
That's crazy for football. It's crazy.
Well, and I will say this. This is why I'm glad that, and it's been smooth so far, but there'll be some turbulence, I'm sure, but it's been about as smooth as I could have thought with Nick Saban retiring. But I'm glad he's gone to the next phase of trying to help the game now, because I think he wants to. I think he wants to be at the forefront of it. He's going into the media part with game day, but I think he also wants to try to fix the sport. And because he knows, as he kept saying during this past year, his last year in coaching, it's not sustainable what we're doing.
Well, there's no question about that. And so something's going to give, and what we've seen give is the $22 million is going to go to the players, and it's going to be, if that happens, there's still going to be NIL money though.
Right.
So it's just going to be. They need to put the guardrails up. That's what needs to happen, and but there's going to be good things long term come of this. It's just going to take a while to realize it.
Yeah, it really is, no question about it. And it's just right now it just seems like it's an oncoming train, but I think they're eventually going to get it under control.
To me, you're in the dark and you hear the horn, but you don't know which way the train's coming, and there might be more than one train. You're not really sure, and it's what you don't know now, and all the different lawsuits. And listen, I think by the end of the year, this year, there'll be double to triple the amount of lawsuits. Watch what I tell you.
Yeah, and like Christy Dosh was saying, there's 3 main ones right now, but there's several out there, and like you said, Wes, you mentioned it during the conversation that you feel like there's more coming, and she referenced, and you did as well, the 83 NC State one potentially. Now I don't know if anything will come of that, but
Oh, well, you don't know if anything coming, but somebody's going to have to defend it.
Right.
It costs money. And if they're successful, Katie barred the door. So very interesting. There has to be, to me, a statute of limitations anyway. But what that is, who knows?
But I agree with you. I was sort of just mystified why they chose 2016. I was like, what? What
had
was
to
that?
be the new contract, the current contract. That's what I don't know that for sure. I'm pontificating about that. But that would make sense. It'd be the new. It was after the BCS.
No doubt. It would be after the BCS, no question. But we are wrapping it up last couple of minutes here of the drive here on this Thursday. We want to thank Baumhauer's Victory Grill for once again being a great sponsor and joining us. And, of course, they were part of the Rocket City Awards as well. What a great evening that was. I've had nothing but positive feedback from that. I'm still getting texts from coaches that want to help us next year with nominations and things of that nature because, again, I'll quote Ronnie Stapler, we are the newspaper. There isn't one anymore. And so what we do and the way we help honor young men and young people, and I'm talking about professionally, collegiately, and then on the high school level, really it's unsurpassed, and it's been a great 2 years.
What a great man Ronnie Stapler is, too. Was and will always be the first winner of the Billy Neighbors Lifetime Achievement Award. Of course, that was chosen by a committee. I couldn't have done it better myself.
Mm-hmm.
Of course,
Van Pettaway, what he meant to Alabama A&M and our community.
This community. And that's what it's all about. My dad loved this community. He was not brought up here, but he loved it. They adopted him, and there are a lot of neighbors running around right now in this town.
Well, they are. Well, it's been a great show. We appreciate everybody for listening. We will come to you tomorrow morning. We're going to have a best of Talking Ball, but we will be back with you on Monday. And it's going to be another outstanding week of programming on 97.7 The Zone. But everybody, we're going to join the Rocket City Trash Pandas now in progress. You're going to hear Josh Carey's call, AA baseball coming up here on 97.7 The Zone.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
The Broadcast Network and Valley Live.
HD 97.7.2, WZZN FM, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Talk Radio, WZZN.
Josh Carey with you. Jeff Scarborough back at our Talk Radio WZZN studios running the boards. We also want to welcome those of you listening on 97.7 The Zone, the primary station. As the fastball in for a strike 0-1, the mothership, if you will. We're thrilled to have them on board tonight. Here's Darian Miller, 218 with 11 RBI. Leading from second, Rodriguez. Jack will check second. Here's the 0-1. Fastball slapped into left field. That's going to be a hit. Runner at third, they're going to wave him, and he's going to score easily. Didn't hit the